One of the ways our immediate present has changed is the way we communicate with each other. If I asked you in the stream or anybody here 2 years ago if you used Zoom, I'm sure some of you would say once in a while. Now I'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who doesn't use Zoom part of their regular day or their week for sure. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about this wild ride for Zoom and how it's changed our communication. And Burkhard just said, I've never seen a brilliant idea come out of Zoom. Well, the guests we talked to would probably disagree with Burkhard, but we got to catch up. Lutz and I actually got to catch up with Harry Moseley. He's the Chief Information Officer of Zoom Communications. We're else on Zoom, and this is what came of it.
So hello from Berlin, everybody, and a warm welcome to Harry Moseley. It's a great pleasure to talk to you for our conference, Berlin Questions, under the title Metropolis, the New Now. You are the global CIO of Zoom, which makes it even more exciting to speak to you on Zoom. It feels a little bit like embarking on a plane with Otto Lilienthal, but it's just a little bit less dangerous, I would hope. Our conference is concerned with the immediate present, and I doubt that there is anything really that stands more for the new now than Zoom and doing video meetings. So as a matter of fact, we are also hearing some mayors and experts today, which we invited to speak via Zoom and video calls. And with us is Sumi Somaskanda. She is the moderator of the conference, and she's already very eager to ask you a couple of questions.
Thanks, Lutz. That's right. Harry, thanks so much for joining us. And indeed, we have plenty of questions. But first and foremost, I think it's safe to say that Zoom has seen a pretty incredible boom over the last 18 months of the pandemic. So it must have been a pretty wild ride. Can you tell us some anecdotes and some numbers about what the last 18 months have been like for you personally and for the company as well?
Yeah, sure. So, well, great to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to share some thoughts, personal and professional, about sort of experiences over the last 18 months. It has been an incredible journey, so to speak. I mean, I joined Zoom 3.5 years ago. Each year has been different. Last year was just astonishing. I remember very well in March of last year how we pivoted from meeting in our offices to shutting down our offices. I remember very well how the world stopped, everything, travel ground to a halt, offices closed, schools closed. We gave our software away for free to schools. We now have over 125,000 schools in 25 countries running on Zoom. We were very clearly, sort of focused on one thing, Sumi, which was connecting the world, whether it was global enterprises, local companies, individuals for social gatherings, maintaining government operations, and of course, education. Because we see that was, education is a fundamental for building great people, creating great careers. Some of the numbers we, in December of 19 hosted 10 million daily meeting participants, and that grew to over 300 million daily meeting participants in April of last year. We went from 100 billion annualized meeting minutes in January of 2020 to over 3 trillion annualized meeting minutes in October of last year. The company grew almost double during the 18-month period. So most of, so 50% of the Zoomies haven't been in a Zoom office ever and have never met another Zoomie, as we call them.
I'm interested in what you said about how there are some people who perhaps communicated with each other over the last year who never met in person. And as Zoom has become a part of our daily lives, I'm wondering, you can see now that I'm, looking down rather than into the camera. And if we were in person, we'd be looking directly at each other. I mean, how much do you think that Zoom is going to change the way that we actually physically communicate with each other as well? And are you concerned about that?
No, not concerned at all. It's great to see you this morning. I don't know where you are, Sumi. I assume you're in Berlin or Europe. Berlin, okay. But isn't it so much better? I'm looking at you. I can see you. I get those nonverbal cues. I see you're smiling. I see you're nodding. I see you're shaking your head. That's much better than if we were like this and we were just talking into a phone line. So So not concerned at all. You know, sort of when Eric Yuan, our CEO and founder, established Zoom 10 years ago, he said video is the new voice. When you look at our children and how they connect with each other and how they operate, it's all about video. It's all about images. We've always said, you know, a picture says 1,000 words. So video being the new voice, being able to see people, being able to see looks and see him smile and see, look, you're nodding your head, you're smiling. I mean, like, you know, what is that telling me? That tells me that you're agreeing with me, means I can go faster. If I was making a business proposal to you guys and you didn't like it, you might be sort of making a different facial expression. So video was always here to stay. And I think that over the last 18 months, people now really understand the phrase video is the new voice. You know, many people have said, you know, they're going to change their behavior. They kind of like the notion of discretionary travel will you know, sort of change forever. People can connect so much easier. Bankers, professional services. You look at the healthcare, you look at education, etc. So I think that there's been a huge paradigm shift, if you will, in the way we're going to operate in the future. So no concerns whatsoever.